Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel English Grammar for You. I hope you have enjoyed the previous video. Please continue to watch.
The farmer and his sons. A farmer had 5 sons. They were strong and hardworking, but they always quarreled with one another. Sometimes, they even fought. The farmer wanted his sons to stop quarreling and fighting. He wanted them to live in peace. Plain words of advice or scolding did not have much effect on these young people. The farmer always thought what to do to keep his sons united. One day he found an answer to the problem, so he called all his sons together. He showed them a bundle of sticks and said, "I want any of you to break these sticks without separating them from the bundle." Each of the 5 sons tried one by one. They used their full strength and skill, but none of them could break the sticks. Then the old man separated the sticks and gave each of them just a single stick to break. They broke the sticks easily. The farmer said, "A single stick by itself is weak. It is strong as long as it is tied up in a bundle. Likewise, you will be strong if you are united. You will be weak if you are divided." Moral: united we stand, divided we fall. Birbal the Wise. One day, a rich merchant came to Birbal. He said to Birbal, "I have 7 servants in my house. One of them has stolen my bag of precious pearls. Please find out the thief." So Birbal went to the rich man's house. He called all the 7 servants in a room. He gave a stick to each one of them. Then he said, "These are magic sticks. Just now all these sticks are equal in length. Keep them with you and return tomorrow. If there is a thief in the house, his stick will grow an inch longer by tomorrow." The servant who had stolen the bag of pearls was scared. He thought, "If I cut a piece of 1 inch from my stick, I won't be caught." So he cut the stick and made it shorter by 1 inch. The next day Birbal collected the sticks from the servants. He found that one servant's stick was short by 1 inch. Birbal pointed his finger at him and said, "Here is the thief." The servant confessed to his crime. He returned the bag of pearls. He was sent to jail. The wolf in sheep's clothing. One day a wolf found a sheepskin. He covered himself with the sheepskin and got into a flock of sheep grazing in a field. He thought, "The shepherd will shut the sheep in the pen after sunset. At night I will run away with a fat sheep and eat it." All went well till the shepherd shut the sheep in the pen and left. The wolf waited patiently for the night to advance and grow darker. But then an unexpected thing happened. One of the servants of the shepherd entered the pen. His master had sent him to bring a fat sheep for supper. As luck would have it, the servant picked up the wolf dressed in the sheepskin. That night the shepherd and his guests had the wolf for supper. Moral: an evil design has an evil end. Hare and the Tortoise. Once a hare was roaming near a lake in a forest. Suddenly he saw a tortoise and mocked at him, saying, "Hurry up, you slow coach. Don't you find life very dull taking so long to cover a few yards? I could have run to the other side of the lake by now." The tortoise felt teased and dared the hare to a race. The race was to be through the wood to a fixed goal. The hare agreed laughingly. In a few minutes he was away and out of sight. "What a funny race it is," he said to himself. "I am already halfway through, but it is too cold. Why not have a nap in the warm sunshine?" The tortoise walked steadily on and on. In a short time, he passed by the sleeping hare. The hare slept far longer than he had intended. When he woke up at last, he looked around in surprise and said to himself, "Not even a sigh of the poor tortoise anywhere so far. I had better trot along and finish the race." The hare ran to the goal. He was amazed to see all the animals cheering the tortoise who had arrived just a minute earlier. How ashamed he felt indeed. Moral: slow and steady wins the race. Nobody believes a liar. Once a mischievous boy lived in a village that stood in the feet of a hill. One day he thought of having fun at the cost of his fellow villagers. Standing on a high rock, he shouted at the top of his voice, "Lion, lion, come, save me." The villagers heard the shout and ran to help him. But when they reached there, they could see no lion and the boy was perfectly all right. The boy laughed at the villagers, saying, "No lion, I did it only for fun." The villagers got highly annoyed and came back with an air of anger. A few days later the boy repeated the whole act. Again the villagers went to his rescue but were duped again. Now they decided not to be fooled by him anymore. Unfortunately, one day, the lion really came there. Now the boy shouted, "Lion, lion," as loud as he could. But nobody came to help him out. The lion attacked the boy. The boy struggled hard to save himself, but within few minutes, the beast killed him. So, once a liar, always a liar. Work is worship. One fine sunny day in winter, a grasshopper was basking in the warm sun, but he was very hungry, as he had not eaten anything since last night. So, he looked about to find something to soothe his hunger. Suddenly, he saw a few ants carrying grains into their hole. He went up to the ants and asked humbly, "Can you, please, spare a few grains for me? I haven't eaten anything since yesterday, so I am almost starving to death." One of the ants asked the grasshopper, "What were you doing the whole summer? Why didn't you store up the food for the winter season?" The grasshopper replied, "Truly speaking, I spent all the summer singing songs, and that's why I couldn't store anything." The ant chucked out a smile and remarked, "Then dance the winter away." The grasshopper pulled a long face and walked away. So we say work is real worship. Never be ungrateful. It was high summer. The sun was extremely hot. Two travelers were going along a dusty road that had no trees along its sides. Looking for some shelter from the hot sun, they saw a tree with big leaves and branches spread like an umbrella. They placed their belongings on the ground and sat in the cool, thick shade of the tree. After taking some rest, one traveler said to the other, "What a useless tree it is! It bears no fruits at all." Hearing this, the tree felt pinched and burst out. "You ungrateful soul! On the one hand, you are taking shelter in my cool shade from the burning heat of the sun, and on the other hand, you are calling me useless. Get up and leave the place immediately to be scorched again." Keep your eyes open. Once upon a time there was a lion that grew so old that he was unable to kill any prey for his food. So, he said to himself, "I must do something to stay my stomach, else I will die of starvation." He kept thinking and thinking, and at last an idea clicked him. He decided to lie down in the cave pretending to be ill, and then whosoever will come to inquire about his health will become his prey. The old lion put his wicked plan into practice, and it started working. Many of his well-wishers got killed, but evil is short-lived. One day, a fox came to visit the ailing lion. As foxes are clever by nature, the fox stood at the mouth of the cave and looked about. His sixth sense worked and he came to know the reality. So, he called out to the lion from outside and said, "How are you, sir?" The lion replied, "I am not feeling well at all, but why don't you come inside?" Then the fox replied, "I would love to come in, sir, but on seeing all footprints going to your cave and none coming out, I would be foolish enough to come in." Saying so, the fox went to alert the other animals. Live and let live. Once there was a big pool near a village. The villagers used the water of the pool for drinking and for other purposes also. The pool was abounded with fish. Once a fisherman went fishing to the pool. He cast his net into the pool and sat down, but he was very impatient. So, he tied a long string to a small stone. Then putting it into the pool, he began to stir the water to drive more fish into his net. A villager saw him do so and asked him not to make the water muddy, but the fisherman didn't listen to him and went on beating the water and making it dirty. So, the villagers brought some companions armed with weapons. Seeing them, the fisherman got scared. He drew out his stone and apologized.